baby?
I sure will, and we're recording, so you're all set.
Hey, this is Michael Harden with the Norwalk Parking Authority. It's a special meeting in August to discuss and vote on two topics. I guess Catherine, we don't say anything about the public, right? There's no public. You're muted, baby.
I did not receive anything.
Oh, good. Okay. So no public comments at this time.
And there's no, just for your own records, there's no attendance on the line either, so there's no one here to speak.
Oh, good. Okay. Excellent. So two quick topics. It should not be a long meeting. The first topic is to authorize the chairman or the vice chairman of the parking authority to execute a three-party agreement with the city of Norwalk and Durenberg Kallenbach Advertising to provide citywide marketing communication services. The Norwalk Parking Authority budget for 2021 for a sum not to exceed $100,000 to help pay for the service. The MPA approval will be advanced to the planning committee and the common council out after us. So there was a bunch of discussion on this, and I think unless you guys want to talk about it a little bit more, Tom, do you have any more thoughts on this? You're muted.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Well, I just want to keep informed about the progress of the contract with the actual terms and scope and that sort of thing. So I don't know if we should send something to whatever commission that will keep us informed, or have somebody volunteer to go to those meetings. But
Tom, I can address that for you. So in the new contract, you will have regular reporting from the new consultant and from myself to the parking authority and to the planning committee of the common council. So on a quarterly or more regular basis, if you would like me to, you would be involved with any progress and any reporting that has occurred from the new consultant.
Okay, that's excellent. And to add to that, and we are going to talk about the motion for this. We are going to request for this funding. We are going to request that one of us, in this case, Eric, is a part of the process and a part of the subcommittee, if there is one, or a steering committee, so to speak, on how the money gets used, and then report back to us on a monthly basis, just to keep us apprised of how it's going and what we're doing there. Eric, do you want to speak to that for a second?
Sure. It's just the thought was that that we would be able to be involved really from the get-go on formulating and getting it from ground up. So it's really more than just about reporting. It's about being involved and engaged as the scope of the contract is finalized and the terms that we understand it, and then the progress meetings once measurable goals are established, that we're able to be part of those ongoing discussions, because what we don't want is just for a report to be mailed to us and then it's up to us to figure out the context and the real sort of meaning of it, versus sort of firsthand reporting that would be possible if we're involved, in it from the ground up.
Yep. And just so you know, we fully intend to have you on everything you do. I'm happy to have the help, and I'm happy to include you guys, especially since it's, your funding. Any input that you want to give, anything you want to be a part of, I'm happy to always keep you guys in the loop.
And just to be clear, just to make sure that I'm clear, what we're authorizing is the use of a budgeted line item. We're not signing a contract tonight, right?
Correct. The
Correct.
contract will be worked on with you ahead of time before it comes to that point.
Okay.
You'll
Right.
actually, Eric, one of your first responsibilities will be to work with Sabrina and Economic Community Development on the contract itself.
Okay, good.
All right, Judd, do you have something?
Yeah, I have a very simple question. I know we funded this in the past. Things were normal. The parking authority was taking in its normal revenue. But where is this coming from? I haven't seen financials for the parking authority since our last monthly meeting. I mean, is this pushing us further into the red?
I can answer it to what we
Catherine?
have to date. So the
Okay,
original approved budget for the parking authority in February had that line item for parking programs at $200,000. When COVID hit, you reduced the expense budget, and this was one of the line items. You reduced it from $200,000 to $100,000, and you spoke about using that $100,000 for marketing services. And with the knowledge that the city was going to, the program itself was transitioning over to business development and tourism, and that we didn't know who the contract was going to be with at that point. Right now, because of the reduced expense budget, compared the revised expense, I guess you want to call it a COVID budget if you would like that, compared to the original approved budget, the revenue collections so far have exceeded the original targets that Judd and Eric and I and Laz spoke about. So
Right.
Today, it's fine. So that's where we're at today. Obviously, there's a lot of unknowns, and that's something you will have to deal with if it gets to that point. I was knocked off the call. Internet, even at City Hall, is kind of funky. So when you get to the approval, Mike, Eric, you can let me know what you're approving, how you amended the agenda item.
Well, Eric is going to make the motion that we talked about. Tom, are you ready for the motion?
I have another question.
Judd?
It's kind of a repeat, but let's say, in October, the virus really gets bad again and, things shut down. And we're, on financially shaky legs. Are we going to be able to walk back on some of this stuff?
All the city contracts, there is always language in city contracts that say pending available revenue.
Okay.
And so Eric, since you're going to be as a part of that contract negotiation, it sounds that way, then you can make sure that that's in there. Yeah, again, to your point, Judd, there's a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah.
And it's not only going to impact this line item. I mean, we don't know. I mean, maybe nothing happens. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's something that you, every month, you're very diligent and you're conservative in your budgeting regardless. So it's something that you would have to look at for all of your facilities. You're managing 11 facilities, and this is one of the line items. So you would get those reports on a regular basis, and you'll have to make, if it gets to that point, I don't know, you'll have to make decisions for the entire parking authority operation.
Okay. Okay.
And Judd, the good news is that we will hear from Eric the health and direction of Norwalk Now each month, so we'll be able to, stay on top of that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think we need Norwalk Now more than ever in the current virus environment. So I think the concept is good. I'm just wondering about the money, but I'm okay with it.
All right. Eric, do you want to make that motion?
Eric, mute.
Yeah, you're going to have to.
So was that a yes from everybody or what? The motion is that we approve the budgeted line item of $100,000, and that it would be regular reporting focusing on the progress toward contracted scope, and that we would be involved in finalizing that scope prior to the beginning of the contract.
Delene, did you get that?
Yep.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Everybody has raised their hands. It is unanimous.
So now I have
the
a follow-up
motion-
question,
Yes.
if possible. So the language says that it's a three-party agreement. How?
Right.
This is maybe we need to get maybe some response from the legal department. As board members signing a contract, how are we indemnified or covered from anything?
You mean this contract, this future contract? Because
The one you and I are going to sign.
Well, one of you signs it. It's typically the chairman or the vice chairman.
Oh, okay.
The parking authority is contractually is covered by the city's risk management policies.
Okay, all right.
So, for instance, Mike just signed the on-call engineering agreement for the parking authority.
Okay. All right, just want to make sure he's covered.
we'll make the other guys sign it first.
Yeah.
Which they typically do. That's what happens. The other guy always signs first.
Okay, all right, good, thanks.
And that contract you're speaking of course, hasn't even really been, negotiated yet.
No.
So it's down the road. But all right, good. So there we go. Thank you. Now, part two of this little meeting is some easements, and it's really just business. And I'm going to ask Catherine to explain the three. There's three, Catherine?
For
Or
you,
two?
two.
There's two specific easements. Basically, it's something that is happening to us as a parking authority, but we need to, by vote, we need to acknowledge that it is happening and that we are not objecting to it. Not that we can, but so Catherine's going to explain these two easements. Go ahead.
Okay, so the state of, did you all see in your packets the, we put together a little graphic. Did you see that? Okay, so you know where that is. All right. So the state of Connecticut would like to obtain certain easements over city-owned property to be able to have access to the areas related to the overall Walk Bridge program. And these areas are city-owned property. And the Connecticut DOT, they've offered the city the appraised value of that property for the right to access city-owned property for these projects. So the first one is at 185 Liberty Square. And when you looked at the identified map, it really does not impact any parking, just the access from Goldstein Place to the wetland, which is right by the water. And the reason, like Mike just said, that this is on the agenda for the parking authority approval is because there will be increased construction activity in the area and for awareness. The total area is 4,016 square feet, and the amount based on the appraised value that is offered to the city for use of this property is $4,025. The second one at 30 Monroe Street, which is the South Norwalk Railroad Station eastbound side, there are two areas that they are requesting. One is access to drive up through the driveway from Monroe Street into the South Norwalk Railroad Station eastbound side. This area is 6,530 square feet, and the Connecticut DOT is offering the city $176,300. And there is no impact to parking for this use. This is only their construction vehicles driving up the driveway to access the railroad related to the Walk Bridge.
Along with people who are using the surface lot there.
Right, and today, yeah, again, all right, so the second area, let me just, yes, and then we can talk about it if you want, is 1,553 square feet, which is the equivalent of 3 parking spaces adjacent to the tracks. And the Connecticut DOT is offering $117,400. Again, the financial offer is based on the appraised value of the real estate and does not consider any lost revenues. The potential lost revenue, if pre-COVID, there could have been a potential lost revenue, is about $8,640 per year. Obviously, right now, it's not an issue as there is parking capacity at the railroad station, given the fact that rail commuting has decreased substantially since COVID. The timeframe for the use of the city-owned property is 6 to 10 years.
What happens to the money?
Because this is city-owned property, the money will go into the city's general fund.
And they drive
Yes.
across, they drive across parking authority assets to get to these spaces?
They're city-owned assets. The parking authority is
What if-
responsible for managing the assets.
What
Yeah,
if-
we just manage them.
What if there's damage?
They are typically during, as part of the easement agreements,
Okay,
they are responsible for that.
okay, good, all right,
Leave it the way you found it.
good.
Right now, there are three of you, which is a quorum. For this vote, I'm going to recluse myself because of my interest in the South Norwalk train station area. But I can ask for a vote. So I'd like to make a motion to pass this. Do I have to read the whole thing, Catherine?
Yeah.
All right then. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the Connecticut's Department of Transportation Walk Bridge easement requests in order to advance certain walk bridge projects at 185 Liberty Square and at 30 Monroe Street as per memorandum sent by Mr. Darian Callahan, Assistant Corporation Counsel, dated July 30, 2020, and the email sent on August 6th, 2020, NPA approval to be advanced to the Public Works Committee, Planning Commission, and Common Council. Can I have a show of hands, please?
Do you need a second first?
I do need a second.
I'll second.
Eric seconded. All those in favor?
I,
That's unanimous. Thank you very much. Passes.
I mean, if we had said no, the state would take it anyway, right?
Right. The only thing really we could have said is that we had some sort of objection and we would voice our objection and that would start a conversation, but there's no objection. I don't think anybody,
Yeah.
right? They need it.
Yeah.
So,
And they're the state.
well, and the train people, right? Exactly. All right.
Beautiful.
Anybody else have anything else? No, this meeting is almost ready. Tom, do you have you got to unmute. Is
All right, now I'll move to adjourn.
there a second? Judd seconded that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all. Very brief. We'll see you in September. I appreciate it.
All right,
Appreciate your
excellent.
time.
Have a great
Good
night.
night.